Greetings all! Today we will be examining the electric-type Ultra Beast Xurkitree, the glowing Pokemon. While they might appear to be rather odd-looking and even goofy to some, Xurkitree are powerful beasts that can readily electrocute anything they touch with enough power to easily end their life there and then.
The main bodies of Xurkitree are comprised of a series of black, rubbery, wire-like filaments that are bound together at intervals by white organic wrappings, forming a pair of legs and arm-like structures with wire-like copper fingers on the latter, a trio of sharp toes in each of the former, split into 1 and 2 toes, and a fifth limb that acts as a tail with a 3-pronged plug-like end structure. This is all then topped off with a large spiky ball on the top of their form that serves as both their head and brain case and the source of their electrical energy.
Xurkitree are one of the few Ultra Beasts known to possess only a single type, but that doesn't take away from their capacity to use their incredible offenses to great effect in battle.
With these beasts, which are apparently quite common in their home world, the head-like object on top of them is actually the main organ that generates power for these creatures, and it is constantly emitting sparks as it overflows with electrical energy. The bodies of these creatures internally share much in common with electrical wires, possessing a hard rubber-like outer skin as already noted, and an internal system of veins and musculature that are built out of organically grown copper, with even their fingers being made out of strips of the metal. This allows them to conduct electricity with incredible efficiency, almost to the point of being considered a superconductor. With this power, these beasts can generate bursts of electricity with voltage readings that reach 1,000,000 volts on average, which makes them highly lethal, as the average electric chair used to execute criminals only puts out 2,000 volts on average. While they're able to store a great deal of electricity in their bodies at once, these beasts are observed to have limited power supplies, and when they feel they are low on power, they will take the limbs and tail and plug them into the ground, taking on a tree-like stance in the process as they slowly absorb electrical energy from the earth itself. However, because the vital functions of these creatures are completely powered by electricity, they may find themselves in a life-or-death situation if they cannot drain power from the planet quickly enough. If this happens, they have been observed to be raiding power plants in order to get a quick recharge, which is how it was determined that they feed off electricity in the first place. It is also interesting to note that their odd body frames do not seem to be well adapted for direct use, as the way in which their upper limbs are split within their own arm forms offers little structural stability and does not seem to have a clear biological purpose. It is thought that this may be the result of an accelerated growth cycle, as these creatures demonstrate remarkable healing abilities when directly damaged, but the damaged tissue regrows so quickly that it sometimes results in slight warping or deformation of their mechanical tissue. It is lastly noted that when they are exposed to the effects of the Beast Boost after initially entering this world, the fresh exposure to Ultra Wormhole energy has the effect of greatly raising the special attack stat, effectively doubling it.
In terms of behavior, there is very little known about these creatures, as they do not have any traditional sort of orifice to communicate with directly.
However, studies on these beings have shown that they do seem to be capable of communicating in their own way, as they will often flash the electricity-generating organ on their bodies and emit weak pulses of electromagnetic energy in distinct patterns that appear to form some sort of rudimentary language. Progress has been somewhat slow on translating these communications, but is nonetheless still being made, and has shown that these creatures are relatively intelligent and are more than capable of understanding and following commands with the right teaching. While they might be somewhat reckless about using their power to fight off others, they seldom attack anything unless it has disturbed or spooked them, though sadly those that end up doing so are usually left as little more than piles of charred dust after getting hit directly by a bolt of electricity from their bodies. Even so, this has made them somewhat easy to contain and observe in captivity, though they can sometimes get into trouble, as they are relatively curious, searching out and exploring every nook and cranny of their environment in order to completely familiarize themselves with their surroundings. This can make them difficult to handle initially, but with the proper training, they can be rendered docile and relatively safe to work around, even if they are more likely to go all out in combat. With Beast Boost on their side as their only possible ability, these monsters can prove to be a horror show to face in conjunction with their stats. As well, most of their base stats are below average for a fully evolved electric-type Pokemon, they are at least above average when it comes to their base attack and especially special attack stats, the latter being so cataclysmically high that it grants them the highest base special attack stat out of all electric-type Pokemon, rendering them a terrifying force to go up against without some sort of ground-type protection on one side.
I have to say that I'm a little bit divided when it comes to commenting on these bizarre creatures. And yes, bizarre even for me. I've spent my fair share of time near one with my husband, and they are honestly innocent creatures that just do what they must to survive and genuinely do not mean others harm, so long as they're not being attacked or otherwise surprised in the wild. To be honest, hubby's specimen, whom he calls Tesla, really sinks himself into the curiosity angle, constantly looking and examining new places, people, Pokemon, and objects galore with the fascination and drive of a curious child. However, as you might have guessed, at the same time, you never want to make direct contact with their fingers, tail, toes, anything where their inner copper insides become accessible. Touching any of those parts in almost any instance is truly a death sentence waiting to happen. They don't even mean to hurt others like this, and only release electricity in the wild to defend themselves, but their power is simply too lethal here compared to whatever their homeworld could offer. As such, anyone lucky enough to find one of these creatures needs to take the encounter with a severe air of caution. They might look silly to some, but if you're not sufficiently grounded to avoid direct exposure, there's a good and honest chance you might leave the area in a body bag.
Truly defining themselves as Ultra Beasts in their unusual forms of behavior, Xurkitree are amazing creatures that help to push the boundaries of what can truly be considered life in the greater multiverse of existence. It's still unlikely that most will ever have to worry about confronting one of these wiry beasts, but those that do need to bring the best ground types they can if they want any chance of easily subduing them.
So do yourself a favor and don't even think of taking them on without 100% total coverage for your own body against electrical attacks. Or you might not have to worry about getting your body cremated when you die, as a massive bolt of electricity from them fully powered will definitely do the job for you.
Thank you all for watching this video. It is always a pleasure to help teach others about the world of Pokemon and the many facets of it that exist in both the world we call home and the world they call home. If you'd like, please leave a comment and subscribe and ring the bell to this channel to get regular updates on content and anything else that might be going on. You can find me and my written work on DeviantArt under the name Utitus and be informed of information and content uploads on my Twitter page and my Patreon page. Donations are always welcome. Always remember, the world of Pokemon is a vast and varied place, and there's no telling what secrets might be hiding just around the corner. So keep watch, stay vigilant, and always prepare for the unexpected. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.